What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Coop back with another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about PPL and the bro split. Should you be doing either one of these? Let's talk about it. So for those of you who don't know, PPL stands for push-pull legs, and the bro split is, I think of it typically how bodybuilders train. They train one or two muscle groups per day. They train muscle groups as opposed to movements. Push-pull legs is push is working everything on the front side of the upper body, your chest, shoulders, tries are the exception there. And then pull is working everything on the back side of the body, all of your back muscles, we'll throw some biceps in there. And legs is all legs, your glutes, quads, hamstrings, calves, etc. A typical PPL split would look like push on Monday, pull on Tuesday, legs on Wednesday. You can either rest or go push again, pull again, legs, rest on Sunday. A bro split can be split up however it makes sense to the person who's doing the training. You can do chest on Monday, you can do back on Tuesday, you can do quads and glutes on Wednesday, you can work by try on Thursday. You can split it up however you want, but either way, both of these splits are very, very common in the fitness industry, especially with people who love going to the gym. These splits are very, very common with people who want to put on size, who want to grow their muscles or gain hypertrophy in their muscles. These two splits aren't the only two ways to train. These are just very, very common in the fitness industry. But what's more important is, what do you feel like you can stick to? Do you feel like you can stick to PPL? Do you feel like you can stick to the bro split? Do you like training one to two muscle groups per day? Do you like training 3 or more muscle groups per day? How you want to train is purely up to you. And when I say, can you stick to them, I mean long term. I'm talking months, years even. You may get to a point where you're kind of burned out on the split a little bit and you can change it up a little bit. But for the most part, you stick with this sort of split. Now, my opinion on these two splits, myself, I don't love them. I don't love training in that way. I don't get much enjoyment, much engagement out of training in this way. I prefer to train movements as opposed to muscle groups. When you're training PPL or you're doing a bro split, you're more often training muscle groups than movements. And for example, PPL is push-pull legs. And on your leg day, you can do squats, you can do leg press, you can do RDLs, you can do tons of different leg exercises. But you're doing those exercises in lieu of hoping to grow. And I think of them as movements to improve the ability to move. Now, when I squat, there's a lot of prep work that goes into my squatting. And I spend some time warming up before I squat. Now, I'm hoping to get the most out of each squat, depending on the phase of training that I'm in, of course. But I'm hoping to get the most out of each squat movement-wise. If I'm moving some weight, then yeah, I want to get the move. I want to feel the weight move well. But it's more about the movement than the muscles that I'm training. For example, to go a little bit deeper, a squat is a vertical push. You're pushing away from the floor and you're moving up and down, right? Whereas someone who trains PPL sees the squat purely as a leg exercise, when I see the squat as a full body exercise. The only really muscle groups that aren't being actively worked are the pecs, maybe, but your entire back has to be active, shoulders have to be active, and of course we're moving the weight with our legs, but the core has to be extremely active, etc. So PPL and the bro split aren't my cup of tea. I don't train that way. I don't train my clients that way. I don't necessarily love these ideologies of training. They're just not my cup of tea. But if they work for you and you love them, go crazy, by all means. Everything in fitness boils down to the idea of it depends. Should you train PPL? It depends. Should you train bro split? It depends. It really boils down to what you plan to get out of your training, how often you want to be in the gym. There's several different factors that weigh into the equation of how you should train, but these are all things that you should weigh and that should weigh into your decision as to what training split you're going to use. There's numerous different training splits. You can split your body in many different ways. So it's less about how or what split you pick, more about longevity and can you stick to it. It's really those are the two big things. For me, PPL and bro split get boring. It's boring for me to think about how to train muscle groups, and I think in that way of thinking doesn't really work for me. I've never really liked it. I tried it for a little bit, didn't really work out well for me. But once I got back to my roots and thinking about movements, the book is endless. The book of exercises is endless. And the last reason why I don't really love PPL or bro split, so I train movements. I train functional movement. PPL or bro split, in my opinion, with the way that it's traditionally done, you can definitely tweak this. You can definitely tweak this to kind of mimic functional movement training. But functional movement, in my mind, how I train myself, how I train clients, is being able to move well on a day-to-day basis, being able to do the daily things extremely well. So I have a client. He has some sort of like Lexus sports type car. It's a Lexus two-door car. And when we started working together, he was struggling to get in and out of his car because, sports cars, they sit really low to the ground. And he was basically like throwing himself into the car because he couldn't squat down and contort to get inside the car. Now, he's not a small guy. I mean, he's slim, but he's like 6'1", 6'2". So he has to go down low to get out of the car. But prior to us working together, he would kind of just throw himself in. But now he's able to squat down, get in the car, navigate to get himself inside the car in an efficient way. And that was something that he had not thought about prior to working with me. And it's small wins like that mean the most to me. Being able to pick up your kids or pick up the dog, or not struggling to take groceries inside the house, being able to move things efficiently, being able to pick things up off the ground, or what have you, whatever activity it is in your daily life, being able to do that extremely well. Now, there are instances where strength plays a role, etc., but I train in a way to help you function in daily life. And that's why I myself don't love PPL. I don't think that they train you well for life. They train you to get big and move a little bit of weight. Not that there's anything wrong with either one of those. That's just not my cup of tea for myself. Now, you may be wondering, how do I structure my workouts for clients if I don't do PPL, if I don't do bro split, if I don't do anything like that? That will be another topic for another video. That I go really in depth when I'm programming for clients and things of that nature. But I want to give you guys a snapshot or a typical, let's say, week of training for a client who has just started working with me. We'll discuss that in another video further down the road. But that's really it for today's video. Again, PPR, bro split, functional training, running, what have you, whatever training that you are interested in, if you can stick to it long term, by all means go for it. What and how you train depends on your goals. That is it for today's video. If you guys found this informational, educational, or you liked it in any way, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell so you'll be notified whenever I post a video. I post every Tuesday and Friday at 6 p.m. But until next time, peace.